Hello and welcome to this overview of editorial workflow for Adobe Premiere with Elements Media Library. In this scenario, the Elements Cube appliance is connected to the facility network and to the cloud. The producer on this project will access the Elements Cube from the cloud, and the editor will access the cube on his Premiere workstation on the facility network. In the first phase of the workflow, the producer will ingest media assets, annotate them, mark up selected takes, and assemble a rough cut for development downstream. The producer logs into the Elements web interface from a browser and opens a production for the project. Within the production there's a workspace. All assets for the project will be stored here. The producer selects the required assets in the OS file browser and drags them to the workspace to upload them. Proxies for online preview are generated automatically. The producer, along with any other authorized team members, may now view the proxies and associated file metadata remotely. The producer can now tag, annotate, and rate the assets. Opening the clip in the media library allows the producer to mark up selected takes and store them as cuts in the clipboard. Comments may be added and assigned to markers on the clip timeline. These markers may be viewed by other team members viewing remotely and will also appear on the editing timeline in Adobe Premiere. The producer now repeats the marking up, rating and annotation processes for the rest of the selected takes. In the next step, the producer creates an editor project which launches the Elements Media Editor interface. The editor project is automatically populated with the media sources for the selected takes and the marked up cuts stored in the clipboard. A sequence is created for the assembly of the rough cut. The cuts may now be added to the sequence and edited gesturally. When the rough cut sequence is complete, it's saved. Sequences are saved in XML format for import into Adobe Premiere projects. In the second phase of the workflow, the editor imports the rough cut, refines it, and exports the final version. The editor launches the Elements desktop client application on his host machine, which is connected to the Elements Cube via the facility network, and logs into the production. The workspace containing the media assets for the project is enabled, which automatically mounts it as a virtual drive on the host machine. Next, the editor launches Adobe Premiere. The Elements extension provides access to the Elements Media Library directly from the Adobe Premiere interface. Now the workspace may be opened and the media assets, including the rough cut project, may be accessed. Double-clicking the rough cut project automatically populates the Premiere project bin, and double-clicking the rough cut sequence loads it to the Premiere timeline. Once the editorial refinements have been completed, the editor renders and exports the final version back to the workspace for the current project. In the final phase of the workflow, the producer logs into the production via the Elements web interface, opens the workspace for the current project, and loads the rendered final for review. A copy of the Premiere project containing the refined edit is also available to be opened and modified by any authorized production team member, either in the Elements Media Library or any Adobe Premiere editing seat connected to the facility network. As we've seen during this brief overview, Elements is much more than high-performance storage. It's a media-centric production platform designed for creatives. For more information about Elements, or to arrange a demo or a trial, contact the XTFX team at sales@xtfx.co.uk.